update or something? Window.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
That's what happened with the other one.
Mic check.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10.
Mic check 1 2 3 4.
Mic check Cheryl 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
I can hear you, Naya. ASM, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Mic check.
Yeah, 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 3.
Well, thanks for joining us on 13 News Now for our 6:30 p.m. stream. I'm Connor Reel. We have team coverage as snow and a mix of snow and rain have hit the area right now. And we'll check out all of our crews in the field in just a minute. But for now, let's start with our meteorologists. What's going on, fellas? Good to see both of you here.
Hey there, Connor. Yeah, quite a day for Team Snow out there across Hampton Roads. Now, there is still a small section of our viewing area that's dealing with a cold rain, and that's the spots you normally find along the Outer Banks, Currituck County, Dare County, where it's just still much too warm with winds coming in off the warmer waters of the Atlantic still this time of the year. It is only the 8th of December. This is a little bit early to have a snowfall this large in parts of our area. So we've got a weather impact alert that'll continue overnight tonight. Once the snow winds down, which will probably be between 10 and 11 o'clock tonight, it's the cold temperatures that are going to create some very slick travel conditions overnight and into tomorrow morning. So I expect your morning commute to be heavily impacted by this. Icy roads, sidewalks, that sort of deal. Here's a look at radar right now. Continues to snow, and in some locations coming down moderate to even heavily. Snowfall rates have been maintained at around 1 inch per hour up through the peninsula. It's wound down a little bit there, but that banding has drifted a little farther to the south and east, where more locations are getting in on some of that accumulating snow now that the sun has been down for nearly 2 hours. Looking at a 6-hour loop here, you can see that rain snow line really dropping south quickly as we approach sunset this evening. And now we're looking at a couple more hours of some accumulations to be ongoing. Temperature-wise, these have been crucial all day long, and they have been falling. Now at or below freezing in a lot of locations, especially in interior south side. We're down to 31 at Kings Fork, right at freezing at Carrollton, Roadway, Suffolk, Executive, and the Great Dismal Swamp. We're down to 31 at Kempsville, even Cape Henry at 31 this hour, Norfolk International at 33, and sitting right at freezing out at Princess Anne. Up along the peninsula, seeing the snow break apart a little bit. Still some more back off to the north and west, but it's of the lighter variety, so the heavier accumulations are probably winding down in that area. But southern portion of the peninsula, you're still seeing some moderate snow up into Newport News, Phoebus, Hampton, Hilton Village, and crossing the river over to Smithfield, where we're sitting at freezing there right now. Moderate snow ongoing with temperatures in the 20s in Northampton along the eastern shore. Accomack County has been more of the lighter side in terms of accumulations. And here's where we're still finding some warm enough temperatures to support just a cold rain in the 40s in places like Grandy, Duck, down to Kitty Hawk. Cold rain for you, but just back inland, we're already down to freezing at Moyock, Morgan's Corner. So some accumulations even expected in those areas. It's also been very windy today. Recent wind gusts up around 40 miles an hour out of the north, and still gusting to 33 at Elizabeth City, 43 out at Duck. Notice a little more northeasterly here, bringing the warmer air up and over the areas there from the Atlantic Ocean. So with the winds and with our air temperatures right around freezing, we've got wind chills that are down in the lower 20s, and it's only going to get colder from here on out, especially with a fresh snowpack out there as well. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit, but Evan, you were saying that the advisories and winter storm warnings have actually been extended due to the conditions deteriorating still.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. You know, they were supposed to end at 6 o'clock. Now they are going to expire here at midnight tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if, because of the slick spots on the roadways, there might be some kind of extension, because we're looking at temperatures down into the 20s tonight. So we take a look at those weather impact alerts and the winter storm alerts for you. Notice much of south side. We are looking here into the purple. We are under that winter weather advisory. Well, as you get up the peninsula through Newport News, York County, James City County, that's where we are looking at that winter storm warning. That also includes Isle of Wight, Surrey, Southampton, and Sussex counties, and most of northeastern North Carolina under that winter weather advisory as well. Tim was taking a look at the radar. We still have, again, a little bit of that mixing right along Back Bay and coastal areas of North Carolina. But here are some of the latest snowfall reports. One of the highest that we've seen as of 6 o'clock from the National Weather Service office in Wakefield, 6.1 inches. And that was from one of those bands that set up, well, I'll go back a little bit, one of those bands that set up across parts of the peninsula. Denby picking up 4 inches. That was almost 2 hours ago. So you can imagine that that number is a little bit higher now. 5 inches in Menchville, and that's almost a 2-hour-old report. Hampton around Hallwood, and we're looking at a 2.5-hour report of about 1 inch. So we are looking at some of those big snowfall totals, and we'll get some updated numbers coming in here. Croker, 2.8 inches, and that was as of 4 o'clock as we continue to see that snow coming in. And we do have the weather impact alert that'll continue overnight, because we are looking at temperatures down into the 20s, and that'll cause some issues on the roadways and some icy sidewalks as well as we get into tomorrow morning, and likely some travel issues as well. We'll have a lot more on what's going on out there in just a few minutes. Connor?
All right, thank you, Evan. Thank you, Tim. And our team of meteorologists will be with us here throughout the stream. Now, we continue our team coverage with our reporters out in the field. Right now, snowfall layering the ground in Williamsburg, and that's where our Layla Cox joins us with more on the weather conditions. Layla, how's it going out there? You have some friends, I see?
Yes, hey Connor, it's been going great. It's cool, it's windy. The snowfall is kind of stopping right now, but earlier today it was coming down pretty consistently. As you can see behind me, there's some traction on the sidewalks, but I'm here with Mila, Claire, Elle, and Margaret, all William and Mary students that kind of want to talk about how they spent the day off. Who's going to take it off?
We had a bunch of snowball fights and we studied a lot.
And why did you guys study? Because what was canceled along with classes today?
Our exams were rescheduled today.
Right, yeah, and how's it just been going for you?
It's been great, a lot of studying, very fun day for us.
Right, and I know you guys wanted to say something before we hop off.
Roll Tribe! Go Women's Lacrosse! Yeah!
Thanks, guys. All right, you guys take care, stay warm. All right, yeah, all right. So that was Mila, Claire, Elle and Margaret. Otherwise, we've been out in Williamsburg by William and Mary for the past few hours. When we headed up Interstate 64 around 2 p.m., the roads weren't too bad, but I can tell you as we traveled further inland, the snow persisted to come down a little bit heavier. If you take a look right next to me, you can see just how much the snow has accumulated. Someone decided to leave their cups. Not sure if they're going to come back from it, but you can see it's fluffy and it's sticky. It's perfect. I'm not going to throw it at Mark right now, but all throughout the day we've been seeing trucks come by, pre-treating the roadways. They started Sunday night and will continue to do it today and overnight as the snow accumulates. But right now, when we're speaking with officials, they say the main concern is as the temperatures drop throughout the night that the chances for black ice and the slush on the road that's going to solidify has officials worried about people traveling on the road. That's why they've been encouraged to plan ahead. I spoke earlier today with Assistant Chief Sean Segerblum with York County Emergency Management. You're probably asking why we're hearing from York County, but you might as well already know that the historic triangle in Williamsburg consists of the city of Williamsburg, James City County, and York County. Chief Segerblum says all jurisdictions across the historic triangle are over-prepared and want people to be extra cautious as these conditions persist throughout the night. Let's hear what Chief Segerblum has to say.
People should pay attention to the weather before they go out in the morning. Kind of get an idea of what you're going into, what you're driving, what kind of conditions you can expect out on the roadways. So if you do have to be out on the roads, people should absolutely slow down. They should give themselves extra time. They should give themselves extra space. And just defensive driving, be safe out there. We're all trying to get to that important place that we have to be.
That's absolutely right. We all have an important place to be, and we want to get there safely. Aside from William and Mary classes and exams being canceled, WJCC schools were also canceled today, and just into the newsroom that tomorrow WJCC school division schools will be closed as well. This is just in preparation for extra caution for that black ice that we might be seeing throughout the night into tomorrow morning. Now, as this winter weather system persists throughout the night, the main thing is to not only bundle up, but be extra cautious when they're on the roads. That means clearing off your cars if you have ice or snow on top. It could be really dangerous if that ice, if you're driving in it and it falls off the car, possibly on somebody behind you. And also, as these slick road conditions increase, please do not tailgate. I know it might seem like a fun thing to do, but it's not safe at all. As these slick road chances increase, I know I keep on saying that, just be extra cautious. You might think that you're coming to a complete stop when you're not. Otherwise, we're out here in Williamsburg. The slow has died down, but you can just see the accumulation. Feels like we're in a Hallmark Christmas movie right now in Williamsburg. I'll be back to you guys later on in the stream with more updates, but for now, I'm live in Williamsburg. Layla Cox, 13 News Now. Connor?
Yeah, Layla, exams canceled. Joy on the William and Mary campus. A little bit more time to study or, time to relax so that you can study even harder later, maybe after the snowball fight. And good for Layla for keeping an eye on those drinks for whoever clearly mistakenly left them there and will be coming back for them at some point. What a live shot. Thank you so much, Layla Cox. We will see you back later on in the stream. And for now, we're going to get another look at traffic with Cheryl Nelson. Now, Cheryl, before you dive into this traffic, okay, you hear that exams have been canceled at William and Mary. Let's say you're back at Penn State and you get this news. What's your MO? How are you celebrating? What are you doing?
Well, I am a weather nerd, so I would 100% be out in the snow with my purple saucer. I'd be sledding down the hills and then getting some hot cocoa or something afterwards to warm up. That is what I would be doing.
What a great plan.
Amazing.
What, with your purple saucer?
Yeah, with my purple saucer. You know what?
Great
You can
plan.
use that both ways.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, guys, let's see what's going on here with the traffic. We are starting to see a few more incidents now as temperatures continue to drop, and we're seeing some more of that snow and slush starting to freeze on some of those roadways, especially on the peninsula there. That's where we're seeing most of the issues right now. So I've overlaid the radar on this. Where you see the dark colors there, the dark blue, that's where you're seeing more of the heavier bands of snow really making their way into the heart of the Hampton Road cities at this time. So we are seeing speed limits coming down, slow going 41 miles an hour on 60 64, about 47 there, 64, and then crossing Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel about 40 miles an hour. So that's good. Slow it down. Keep extra space between you and the vehicle in front of you, because if you do have to stop, you don't want to go slipping and sliding. I'm worried that's what might start to happen as those roads start to freeze. Now, here are the incidents we have. We have I-64 westbound near mile marker 252 with disabled vehicle on the side of the road. Also, I-64 west near exit 258, a vehicle crash. So can't really see what's going on there. This is near J. Clyde Morris Boulevard in Newport News. So that's off on the shoulder. It looks like people going by slowly, probably taking a peek at what's happening there. This vehicle has been there for a while, hopefully finally getting a tow truck to get out of there again. This near mile marker 252 there, so around Fort Eustis on I-64 on the peninsula. James River Bridge, wow, we've been seeing this all evening. The snow blowing horizontally across that bridge connecting Newport News and Isle of Wight County. The winds have been gusting. Visibility downs near a quarter to a half a mile in spots. So take it easy, slow going. We'll keep an eye on the traffic. Another check coming up later in the stream. Connor.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. We'll see you later on in the stream. And we're talking road conditions. We're talking traffic, which means it's a perfect time to throw it out to our weather impact interceptor. Derek Lytle is out on the roads with Luca Pfeiffer. Derek, how are things looking for you guys out there? You look happy, Derek. I got to see a smile on the face.
Well, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm getting a little bit of a FOMO from our team over in Williamsburg. I got my snowboard pants on today. So, it seems like they're having a good time out there. But, being cozy here in the interceptor, I'll show you. We've been monitoring conditions on 264 throughout much of the afternoon. And I think people are starting to heed and take the advice that you heard earlier in our stream, just to, drive safe, slow. You got to get to your destination, but get there in one piece. And we haven't really seen much of any accident or anything that's causing much congestion. We just left Norfolk, again headed towards the ocean front. Not many backups or anything like that. We have seen a lot of snow removal crews just kind of posted on the side of the road. It's not sticking necessarily to the road, so they're kind of just waiting on the sidelines, seeing if they need to be called into action over here on the roads. But it's obviously good news to report that we're not seeing anything terrible, no major accidents or injuries yet from either the east or west side headed back to the station, Connor.
All right, thanks, Derek. You guys be careful driving out there. We'll see you a little later in the stream. And I know we're sorry that you had to miss the William and Mary campus snowball fight, but we appreciate you keeping an eye on the roads for us. And hey, maybe when you get back to the station, we'll throw snowballs at you just to make up for lost time.
There you go. I'll be expecting it.
That works. So okay, good. See, now he's going to be guarded. He's going to have a little supply. I might have blown it there. I might have blown it. Thanks, Derek. We'll see you in a little bit. Now, on our website, 13newsnow.com, we have a list of local school and city closures due to the weather. That includes the Virginia Zoo, Norfolk's Nauticus Museum, and Norfolk Botanical Garden, meaning no Garden of Lights tonight. If you did buy tickets, contact visitor services to reschedule them using the number on your screen. Now, I do notice that there is no number on your screen. We're going to try to get that up for you as soon as possible. The Garden of Lights is open every night moving forward and through January 4th. There it is. Let's take a beat. We'll stay on this screen. If you need to call about those tickets, that number right up there on your screen at Norfolk Botanical Garden. We got a look at the Norfolk Botanical Garden on one of our live feeds earlier today during Live Impact News. And the snow falling, it did create a beautiful scene out there, but understandably closed because the snow was falling quite a bit over at the Norfolk Botanical Garden. Okay, moving on. Another check on the conditions out in the elements coming up. We'll be back after a short break. Snow is piling up over in Newport News. It's been snowing in Newport News since around noon today, right in the afternoon. That's where we have found our Brianna Fallon all day. She's been monitoring conditions around Newport News, and she has how those conditions have been and how they're looking.
In just a matter of minutes, several areas of Newport News saw freezing rain turn to snow this afternoon.
The main concern is just to keep the roads clear and passable for the community.
Newport News Street Maintenance Administrator Jason Calvert says crews saw this storm coming well in advance and started prepping the roads over the weekend. But he says the work doesn't end there. Calvert's crews are working around the clock today to keep these roads safe and clear of snow as best as they can. While Calvert's crews work on plowing and laying salt on the roads, Calvert says the best thing drivers can do during this storm is to stay home. But if you are out on the roads, Calvert says it's important to take your time and drive cautiously.
You don't need to go out when the roads become unsafe, then certainly stay home. And if you see our crews out working, please give them space so that they can treat the roads.
All right, let's move on now to Suffolk, where Emily Harrison spent the day. How about the latest on conditions out there with Emily?
Plow trucks made their rounds on Godwin Boulevard as snow landed in Suffolk.
I'm a fan because I'm from Michigan, so snow is like therapy. I love it.
While the snow did not really gather on the ground, Suffolk emergency crews are still fully mobilized. In a statement to 13 News Now, a city spokesperson says, quote, "Our emergency management team is coordinating with local, regional, and state partners to ensure the safety of our community." Those in the community had mixed opinions about the winter weather.
I'm not a fan of the snow because I don't like driving in the snow.
I wasn't expecting to see much, but it's good today. It's good to see snow.
Even as the snow stops, power crews will still work around the clock. Sharice Newsom with Dominion Energy says ice is their biggest concern and can lead to power outages.
Ice can be a major challenge for power lines because it weighs them down. And once those power lines are weighed down, they could sag, and that can affect the flow of electricity.
And the winter wonderland can kind of make you feel as if the holidays are here, and it's good because they are, and they can be just as stressful as joyful sometimes. If you're more stressed this time of year, Cleveland Clinic psychologist Dr. Dawn Potter says the best place to start is figuring out why. If you're feeling stretched thin by a full calendar, it can help to pare things down a little bit. Just because something's been a tradition doesn't mean you can't try something different for your peace of mind.
I think it's important to remember that you have a choice about what you do for the holidays, and just because something should be done a certain way or has always been done a certain way does not mean you can't do something new, do something different, make a new tradition.
Now, planning ahead is also key to reducing stress. Leave early for travel and avoid last-minute shopping when possible. Now, we're tracking conditions in Norfolk and Virginia Beach where people are dealing with a wintry mix of rain and snow that could cause hazardous conditions. We'll be back with more after the break. Okay, so we spent a lot of time on the south side, but we're also tracking conditions, or excuse me, on the peninsula, but we're also tracking conditions in Norfolk and Virginia Beach, where people are dealing with more of a wintry mix of rain and snow that could still cause hazardous conditions. Shane Fordham has been in Virginia Beach all day today. He spoke with city officials about how they're dealing with the impact.
Our 13 News Now weather team says the Kempsville area near the Chesapeake line, along with parts of Bayside, could see up to ½ inch of snow by the end of the day. This mix of wet snow and cold rain could create hazardous slush and even patches of black ice, which AAA says can be dangerous to drivers.
Anytime there's anything between the ground, between the road and your tires, your tires are not able to grip the road as well. So there's always the risk of that happening to motorists out there. So just encouraging people to take it a little bit slower.
AAA advises drivers to keep emergency supplies in your car in case you find yourself stranded in today's conditions.
A pair of jumper cables, a phone charger and a phone bank, a couple of non-perishable snacks, a blanket, an extra heavy jacket, anything that you could need to sustain yourself while you are waiting for assistance there on the side of the road.
A winter weather advisory is in effect for most of Hampton roads, with 1 to 3 inches of snow expected across the region, except for Norfolk and Virginia Beach. While many cities are bracing for the potential of heavy snow, the main concern for Virginia Beach and Norfolk is cold rain. City officials from Virginia Beach says crews are prepared and are on standby.
They're out and they're ready to go. You know, our totals seem to be less than an inch around there. So not a whole lot of moving snow we can do, but a lot of pre-treatment and preparation ahead of time to try to prevent it from sticking on the roadways.
Okay, so that was Shane Fordham reporting, and let's get one more look at traffic conditions we're seeing with Cheryl Nelson. Cheryl.
Yeah, Connor, we're starting to see some issues now. The roads are starting to see some of that freezing over happening, and yeah, we do have some accidents to talk about. So I want to go to the peninsula. This is where we've seen the most snow today in our area. Boy, they're getting several inches of snow there in some of our western counties too. So we do have an accident. One lane is blocked along with the right-hand shoulder. This is on I-664 northbound near exit 4 Roanoke Avenue. So I want to show you what's going on there with that one. So you can see the accident there off to the side. Oh, you can see some of that ice now starting to reflect on some of the roadways. So yeah, definitely slickness. Slick spots are starting. Bridges and overpasses especially are going to become problematic very shortly if they aren't already. So please slow it down and give yourself lots of extra space there. I don't know what's going on there. It looks like this guy is trying to go and around. Everybody's looking to see what's happening there. Just please drive safe and take it slow if you have to head out for this evening. Now, what's going on? James River Bridge, still seeing that snow blowing horizontally across the bridge. Again, the JRB, and this connects Isle of Wight County and Newport News. Slow moving traffic across the JRB too. Those winds certainly are gusting. Visibility has been down to 1/4 mile at times in some areas. Right now, Newport News about 1 mile, 2 mile visibility in Wakefield, 1.5 miles in Hampton, 3 miles in Virginia Beach. So those heavier snow bands, that's where you'll see that lower visibility, of course. Here's a look at Gloucester. Look at that winter wonderland. Got an icicle there on the screen. That car's going way too fast. Don't be doing that if you are driving out and about this evening. Again, conditions will continue to worsen. Finally, Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. Hopefully you don't have to go across that bridge tunnel tonight. Could see winds gusting to 40 miles an hour. Level 1, speed limit reduced to 45 miles an hour. No buses, RVs, or motorcycles. I don't know why you'd want to be on a motorcycle in these conditions, but no passing, nothing being towed. Keep that in mind. That's what's going on there. All right, another check on traffic coming up later in the stream. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. And, you know, Cheryl said it. When that snow starts coming in horizontal as opposed to vertical, you know, things start to get a little bit less comfortable out there. All right, let's do another check on that weather with meteorologist Tim Pandages. Tim, how you doing?
Good, Connor. We're watching banding, heavy banding, setting on up through Southside right now, so getting in on some of that accumulating snow action out through Portsmouth, over Norfolk, Chesapeake, Suffolk, stretching out into north central Virginia Beach right now. You can see that dark blue shading there, and that looks to be the last of the heavier snowfall. Still plenty of light to moderate at times snow back off towards the west that still has to pivot on through here. It'll start to dissipate as it pushes off to the east, as the main area of low pressure is going to be pulling away. So we'll start to see things die down over the next couple of hours. Here's a look at the last 6 hours on radar. We started things off with rain for a good chunk of the area, especially south side and in northeastern North Carolina. And quickly we saw that rain snow line retreat off to the south with that colder air infiltrating from the north. We switched radar over to snow vision. We have rain vision when we're looking at rain totals. These are radar estimates. And here's a look at what the radar thinks has fallen so far in areas that have seen jackpot totals. Some of these come on in with verified ground reports. But again, this is just some estimates from radar. Seeing some areas here near the line with Sussex and Surrey up and over 7 to 8 inches so far. Into areas closer to the river there, around 5 inches or so in Surrey. Northern portions of Isle of Wight, 3.5, and then crossing the river into James City County over to Williamsburg, between 4 and 5 inches so far. I just saw a ground report come in from Menchville that's pushing 7 inches of snow. And again, it's still snowing in these areas, so we may add to those totals as well. Down in the south side, again, take this with a grain of salt. A lot of this was melting on contact over the last couple of hours, but some of it's starting to accumulate on grassy, elevated surfaces, and even some roadways still with that heavier banding setting up there. Indicated on radar up to an inch, inch and a half, maybe 2 inches. A lot of that lost to melting, though, in these areas. Then in Suffolk, probably on the ground there in some of the grassy areas, an inch, inch and a half over in the Isle of Wight as well. Radar itself here is that heavy snow band stretching from Deep Creek to Great Bridge down to Hickory, up into Norfolk, northern Virginia Beach, Great and Little Neck, seeing some moderate to heavy snow for you right now, beginning to pull out of the Suffolk area, but still coming down in downtown at the moment. Off to the north, a little bit more sparse in terms of some light to moderate patches of snow, more some snow squalls and snow showers up through the peninsula now. Still widespread light to moderate snow along the eastern shore, and northeastern North Carolina still starting to see that rain snow line push its way slowly towards the east. I do think portions of Currituck County will see some snow on the tail end of things here as that cold air does win out. Accumulations, maybe not much, maybe on the grassy surfaces, a half an inch or so, but you should still see some snow there. Back inland towards the west, likely some higher totals by the time everything wraps up over the next couple of hours. Now, snow winds down between 9 and 11 tonight from west to east. Very cold tonight. Actual air temperatures down into the 20s, especially inland. And with that fresh snowpack, we may get even colder in some spots. With the winds, gusts 30 to 35 still will make it feel like it's in the teens in a lot of areas by tomorrow morning. And look for snow-covered, icy roads, not only tonight, but lingering into the morning commute on your Tuesday as well. Here's a look at those winds right now. An over 40-mile-per-hour gust recently out at Norfolk, 38 at Virginia Beach, 39 at Cape Henry. 44 miles an hour at Duck, 30 miles an hour in Elizabeth City, coming in out of the north to northeast, a cold flow, and that does make it feel a whole lot colder out there. We are now sub-freezing at Virginia Beach. Feels like it's 18 this hour. Suffolk's at 32, feeling like it's 25, and Hampton right at freezing, feeling like it is 22. Now, Evan, we still got snow accumulating for the next couple of hours, but then things wind down, and then it's the cold we're going to focus on overnight tonight.
That's right. As you mentioned, Tim, we are looking at those lows down into the 20s, and wouldn't be surprised if there are a few teens out there where we have that snow on the ground. Wanted to take a look at some of our cameras, especially up towards Williamsburg, and you can see there the cars have gone through those roadways, but certainly we are seeing, that snow that has accumulated on the roads, and that later tonight as temperatures drop down into the 20s, that is going to freeze, and that's why we have the weather impact alert that will continue into tomorrow morning. Chesapeake, this here is the Jordan Bridge between Chesapeake and Portsmouth. Doesn't look like too much out there actually on the actual bridge, but you can see that snow blowing as we have those gusty winds coming in, gusting over 40 miles per hour. So timing things out here with Futurecast, taking you through the remainder of the evening. Still a couple of those heavy bands, as Tim mentioned here. This is as of 8 o'clock. You can see the time there at the top right-hand corner of the screen. By about 9, 10, 11, really starting to wind down as this low pulls off the coastline, works its way eastward, and then those temperatures really take a nosedive as we get into tomorrow morning. As we mentioned, some of these inland spots down into the 20s, like 21 Richmond, 22 Wakefield, 21 Emporia, even Franklin and Ahoskie down to 24. So any kind of moisture that is on the roads, any kind of slush that will freeze tonight, not as concerned about the primary roads, the interstates. VDOT's been doing a good job preparing the roads, but it's those neighborhood streets, those secondary roads that'll have some issues, and that's why we have quite a few school systems that are either closed tomorrow or at least on a delay to allow temperatures to warm up, and they will warm up as we go into the afternoon. Temperatures should climb up into the low 40s by 3 o'clock. But those temperatures are still well below our normal or average high, which is around 55, 56 degrees. So a chilly afternoon tomorrow, clearing out tomorrow night, another cold night, below freezing in most spots. And as we go into the afternoon on Wednesday, temperatures start to warm up, actually into the 50s, but it'll be short-lived. We'll be back into the 40s, and maybe by next Monday, there'll be spots that don't get out of the 30s as another push of colder air works its way in early next week. So another shot outside is our Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview, our LFCU camera there at Oyster Point in Newport News. It looks nice with all the Christmas lights out there, but we do have the snow that is on some of those roadways. Wind chills, again, in the 20s and teens in some spots, so it feels very cold out there. And we'll continue to see those temperatures drop. We're into the 30s now, 29 in Gloucester, Melfa 28 in Richmond, 31 in Moyock, 31 Virginia Beach, so sub-freezing there, 32 in Hampton, and 32 in Suffolk. Officially 30 degrees at Norfolk International, but inland spots into the 20s. It'll be cold. Some icy spots out there as the snow tapers off. And tomorrow, some morning icy spots giving way to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures in the low 40s. And then as we take a look at the extended forecast, 53 on Wednesday. So we do get that brief warm up on Wednesday, but then temperatures back down to the 40s for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, low 40s. Another chance at a couple of showers, and then only 40 degrees into the day on Monday. Some spots might not get out of the 30s. Connor?
In other headlines tonight, Charlotte police are investigating the second light rail stabbing in 4 months. Today, the suspect in this latest incident was ordered to stay in jail without bond. 33-year-old Oscar Solanzaro is accused of stabbing a 24-year-old man in the chest Friday night. The victim is in the hospital. Prosecutors say Solanzaro was yelling at passengers on the light rail when the victim told him to stop. The Department of Homeland Security says Solanzaro was in the country illegally. This stabbing happened on the same light rail line where a Ukrainian refugee was killed 4 months ago. And Portsmouth police are working to identify a person who jumped off the Berkeley Bridge this morning to evade officers. Police say the person was driving a stolen vehicle. An officer first spotted the car going eastbound on Route 164 around 6:30 a.m. Police say the driver drove onto the Berkeley Bridge, crashed right before the Waterside Drive exit, and jumped into the water. Police later found the suspect's body. And 2 men are in custody after another police chase overnight. Virginia Beach police say they stole a car at gunpoint late last night, and officers chased the suspects until they crashed at the Interstate 64 interchange with Interstate 464. Police say officers chased the suspect and one officer fired their gun, though no one was hit. Both suspects are from North Carolina, and they're facing several charges. And Norfolk police have identified a man killed in a shooting in Calvert Square this weekend. 26-year-old Cameron Nicholson was found shot on Bagnall Road around 3:20 Saturday morning. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say the circumstances are under investigation, and anyone with information is asked to call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. An inmate who escaped from the Chowan County Detention Center in Edenton is back in custody. Edenton police say 23-year-old Charles Babb forced his way out last night with a small handheld edged weapon. Authorities say there will be a full investigation into the circumstances of the escape. And there's another check on the conditions out in the elements coming up. All right, we continue our team weather coverage with our reporters out in the field. Right now, snowfall layering the ground in Williamsburg. It has been for some time, and that's where Layla Cox joins us with more on the weather conditions. Now, Layla, you're much lonelier than last time. You don't have any examless students with you, but nonetheless, it looks like there is some snowfall out there.
Hey, yeah, Connor, not too lonely. Stay with me for just a few minutes here. But right now I'm in Williamsburg on William and Mary campus, where we've been here for several hours. I want to tell you our route up I-64 to Williamsburg around 2 p.m. wasn't too bad, but I know Derek will have updated conditions. But I can tell you, as we traveled inland, the snowfall just got heavier and heavier. Right now it's died down, but the wind is still picking up, and it's freezing temperatures out here. It's thick, it's sticking to the ground, if you can kind of see behind me. It makes for perfect winter wonderland weather, if you would ask me. But if you don't believe me, one of my coolest friends that I know is living proof that it's perfect winter wonderland weather right here. This is my guy, Snowy. William and Mary students told me they came out here on an examless day and built him. Yeah, he says that's his snowman right there. Perfect winter wonderland weather. Right now it's about 30 degrees, feels like 18 degrees outside, and a bunch of William and Mary students have been out here just excited, saying they've never seen the snowball before. But earlier today I spoke with officials, and we're told that since Sunday they've been pre-treating the roadways, over bridges and overpasses. We've been seeing them continue to do so over the day, and as the snow accumulates, they say they will continue to be back out on the roads. Spreading salt. William & Mary campus is closed, as I just mentioned, and all university events were canceled. And as well as all Williamsburg, James City County Division schools and offices were also closed due to inclement weather. Just into the newsroom, we found out that WJC schools will also be closed tomorrow. Now, Virginia's historic triangle encompasses the city of Williamsburg, James City County, and York County. City officials are urging residents across all cities and counties to plan ahead before getting behind the wheel. I spoke with Assistant Chief Sean Segerblom with York County Emergency Management Services. He says crews across all jurisdictions are bracing for conditions to potentially worsen overnight as these temperatures continue to drop. Chances for slick, icy road conditions increase, and he just wants people to be extra cautious. Let's hear what he has to say to those planning on getting on the roads.
We're upstaffing. We're making sure that we've got everything ready to go. So if we do have to respond out on emergencies, our units are prepared. We've got extra people to help in dangerous and slippery conditions, and we'll take each call as it comes.
Now, as this blast of winter weathery conditions persists throughout the night, we are warning drivers that are getting on the roads and tomorrow morning to be cautious of the black ice. If you're getting on the roads today, make sure you do not tailgate those in front of you. Clean off your cars. We don't want to see any snow or ice on top of your cars that could potentially fall back onto people. And it's also bundle up. You see me out here. I'm layered up. I've got socks. We've got hot hand warmers, earmuffs, gloves, and just enjoy the day while it lasts in this winter wonderland out here in Williamsburg. Me and my guy Snowy will be here on the stream later today to talk about what more William & Mary students have to say and what city officials just want to remind people about being extra precautious into the night and into tomorrow morning. Be sure to stay with us here at 13 News Now. For now, live in Williamsburg, Layla Cox. Back to you, Connor. Told you.
All right, thanks, Layla. I spoke to, at the end there, she was definitely going to say, told you I'm not lonely out here. I spoke too soon. Of course, Snowy is out hanging out. Snowy was kind of doing one of these, like, what's the big deal? A little bit of snow. We also, back here in the control room, they were sure that Layla was about to toss that snowball straight at the camera. We were ready for it, though, but nobody is more prepared for a day like today than our meteorologists, Evan Stewart and Tim Pandages. For now, we're going to throw it over to, which one of you guys are we talking to here? That's going to be Tim Pandages with us. Tim, a little bit more on the forecast from you.
Yeah, it was good. Snowball making snow, snowman making snow, high moisture content type of snow that coats all the tree limbs and makes it look really pretty. And this time of year, too, all illuminated after the sun goes down by some of those Christmas lights that are up across Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. Now, as the cold air begins to drive in, the moisture content will drop, and we're going to get a higher fluff factor, so we may be able to squeeze out just a little bit more in terms of accumulations as the colder air works in over the next few hours before everything really begins to taper on off. Through south side right now, and even crossing the border into northeastern North Carolina, we've got the heaviest of the snow falling right now. And this is the same band that's been working its way in from the north and west. Back behind it, it tapers off significantly in regard to snowfall rates, but it is still snowing, just mostly some light snow showers and even some moderate snow out there as you get closer to I-95. Looping it over the last 6 hours, though, of course, we didn't start at snow today. We had a cold rain for most as we went through the afternoon. Rain snow line dove to the south and east and retreated as the cold air built in from the north and transitioned most of us over to a snow this evening and through the first part of the overnight. Here's a look at the last 2 hours. Out through south side, last hour, really. You can see widespread moderate to heavy snow stretching through all of Suffolk, over into Portsmouth, Norfolk, Chesapeake, and Virginia Beach. And it is starting to lay on grassy surfaces. Some side roads are starting to see a little bit as well. But for the most part, reports I've been getting is roadways still look okay right now through south side, which is good. But even if they're wet, with temperatures tonight getting well below the freezing mark, we're going to see a lot of cases of black ice by tomorrow morning. Really letting up, as you saw from Layla's live shot out through Williamsburg. It's just some flurries there right now. There may be a few more pockets of some snow drifting on through, but I think the accumulating snows for the most part have ended along the peninsula. Eastern shore, still a pocket of some heavier snow here right along 13, moving really quickly off to the east, just to the north of Cape Charles And down in northeastern North Carolina, you can see some heavy snow here moving into northern Currituck out towards Knott's Island, possibly mixing with a little bit of some rain still as you get over into those coastal communities. But you should still see a little bit of some accumulated snow on some of the grassy surfaces there. So far, we had a blockbuster snow total just reported out at Menchville, 6.9 inches there. Wakefield coming in just over a half foot. Denby at 4, same out at Gloucester, and Phoebus at 1. Still waiting on some reports out through Southside. Those will kind of trickle on in as we go through the next couple of hours tonight. It's also been very windy. If you've stepped outside, it's been chilly today, but the wind makes it feel all that much colder. 41-mile-per-hour recent gusts at Norfolk International, 39 at Cape Henry, Oceana, and Virginia Beach at 31. 30-mile-per-hour recent gusts at Elizabeth City, 43 at Duck, and Oregon Inlet seeing a recent gust of 37 miles an hour there. So, of course, that makes our air temperatures that are now at or below freezing feel 10 degrees colder in some instances. Feels like the upper teens this hour at Virginia Beach at 19. That feels like 21 Elizabeth City with an air temperature at 33, and feels like 20 at Norfolk with an air temperature right now hovering just above the freezing mark at 33. Now, tonight we'll make it down to around 30, but inland spots I expect a lot of widespread 20s. And that's why icy conditions are likely widespread by tomorrow morning, down to 21 at Wakefield. And keep in mind, a lot of these areas will have that fresh snow cover. So it'll be that much colder, and you'll have the winds that'll make it feel like it's in the teens out there. A day straight out of mid to late January, pretty much, rather than early December. Shooting for a low tonight in Norfolk at 30, same Elizabeth City, and 23 out in Ahoskie. Now, Evan, because of the cold weather and the icy conditions, the winter weather alerts have been extended for several more hours tonight.
That's right. They were initially supposed to expire at 6 o'clock. They're going till midnight tonight. And we have our own weather impact alert that goes into tomorrow morning because we are looking at that threat of the black ice out there. But the winter storm warning continues for York County, James City County, Williamsburg, Newport News, Isle of Wight, Surrey, Sussex, Southampton, and back towards Interstate 95. These are the areas that we've seen some of those highest snowfall totals, while the rest of the Middle Peninsula, Eastern Shore, parts of the peninsula, Poquoson and Hampton, and much of Southside and northeastern North Carolina under a winter weather advisory. That, of course, is not quite as threatening or not quite as significant as the warning. And these are the areas we could still see, 1, 2, 3 inches of snow as everything continues to wind down this evening. But as Tim was mentioning, we've got that heavy band of snow indicated by the darker blues that's moving through Suffolk, Chesapeake, and Virginia Beach. Some of the latest snowfall reports, moderate snow in Norview and Norfolk coming in only a half inch. Now, some of that has melted, but as Tim was saying, as we move our way up the peninsula, this is still an hour-old. Beaconsdale, 3.5 inches, 5 inches in Menchville, 5.7 in Denby. We had another total that came in earlier that was over 6 inches through parts of the peninsula. And then as we went up towards Five Forks, again, this report is a little bit old, from a 520, 3 inches of snow. We haven't had any reports along the eastern shore. Wakefield coming in at 6.3 inches. That's as of the top of the hour. So that one area that we were talking about, we really have seen some of the highest snowfall amounts right through there. As we go through the evening into the overnight, we are looking at those temperatures to drop back into the 20s. So as I mentioned, we do have the the weather impact alert that'll run through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, because we are looking at the potential for icy roads, especially these areas that got 4, 5, 6 inches of snow. That'll still be on the ground tomorrow with temperatures in the 20s, and that'll likely freeze and freeze hard. And, if some cars have gone over it and melted a little bit, then that'll change over to ice instead of just frozen snow. So we are looking at some slick spots on the roadways, and you'll definitely want to take some extra travel precautions. Check the roadways tomorrow morning on daybreak. Of course, we'll be giving you the updates on the roads. Daybreak starting early tomorrow at 4 a.m. And, of course, Greg and Taylor will be in tracking the cold weather that'll be out tomorrow morning.
All right, Evan, and speaking of those roads, speaking of those roadways, our Derek Lytle still out in the elements. He's in our Weather Impact Interceptor. Now, Derek, the last time I talked to you, you had a little bit of FOMO because Layla had been able to get in on some snowball fights over on campus there. I hate to tell you, man, she also has made a friend. A little snowman has joined our crew here at 13 News Now. We're all excited for you to meet Snowy. How are you holding up?
Yeah, man, we're doing good. You know, I actually just hopped on a call with a member of the Virginia State Police, and we were just chatting about how the day has played out for them. She says every time we have a system like this come in, there is some, nerves, just general nerves on how the day is going to go. And she says, they've seen a large number of crashes across the state of Virginia today, unfortunately. But she said the one positive takeaway from that is just the fact that they have had no major injury crashes yet. So something really good to take away from a negative situation. As it gets colder, her big concern is when those temperatures drop even more overnight, that ice, the freeze over on the road that people may not take into account for might cause more and more cars to slip while they're driving through the middle of the night. She did recommend something, a good point that brought up, if you happen to be in one of those situations where you end up in a ditch or you end up with your car not working properly, it's just good to have like an emergency go kit that you take in your car, you can pull out in case your heat's not working, something like that. So something to keep in mind if you have to get out on the roads. Now, we've been up and down 264 throughout the afternoon, like Connor, and a good thing, a positive, is there really hasn't been any snow buildup on the road just yet. We are starting to see a little bit of the snow buildup on the side of the roads here, but I think VDOT crews did a really good job of making sure these roads were ready for any snow that we were going to see. Obviously, we're seeing a lot less snow here near the Virginia Beach and Norfolk areas than we are seeing up where they don't have to take those exams over in Williamsburg. So, but that's just how it's looking right now. Again, I'll show you the side. We're starting to see some of that snow build up on the roads, and you can see it's actually coming down. And as Tim was mentioning, it's blowing horizontally. It's just it's driving the snow really everywhere. And when we were ever at the ocean front, it was pretty windy over there too. So a lot of kind of organized chaos, if you will, Connor, for lack of better terms. But for now, I'll toss it back over to you, back in the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Derek. And we can't say it enough. Be safe out there. You heard Derek. Our entire reporting team is on this. Our entire weather team is on this. Those roads are going to be slick. That is going to be a major issue. Just because you don't see snow buildup on the roads does not mean that there are not dangerous conditions. The combination of that precipitation and then the freezing cold temperatures that are to come as we move further into the night is very dangerous. So be careful if you have to be out on the roads. We know that Derek Lytle and Luca will most certainly be. And we're going to see them again in just a little bit. But for now, we're going to toss to a break. We'll be back afterwards with another look at the traffic. Okay, well, that was a nifty tune.
Yeah, you like that?
Cheryl, that's a nice little intro that they got for you there.
I like that. I guess we probably should start dancing, right? Doing some moves.
You know what? I think you fill that role perfectly. I'm going to let you do the dance thing, and I'm just going to do more of the stoic enjoyment thing.
You play that well, too. Just keep flashing that smile.
I'm trying the best I can. And, we just talked to Derek Lytle. Talk about a great smile. We just talked to Derek Lytle, and he said he was talking to Virginia police. They said they have seen some accidents out there. I know you echoed that same thing the last time we talked to you about traffic. You hate to see it, but as conditions worsen, it sounds like we are seeing a little trouble on the roads.
We are, yeah. I'm going to show you a car in the ditch in just a minute. So we are starting to see some problems here. Oh boy, so several accidents now on the peninsula to talk about. So we're seeing those temperatures dropping, as we mentioned. So that's snow, that's slush on the road. Yeah, icy spots. People are spinning out. They're going too fast. They're following too closely. So please, slow it down if you have to be out and about. So where you see the green, that's traffic moving normally. Where you see the yellow, especially up here on 64 near Williamsburg, slow going traffic because of those road conditions. So I'm going to overlay the radar on there. The darker blues there indicate the heavier snow bands pushing south into Chesapeake. We do have 2 accidents to talk about on the peninsula. So one lane is blocked along with the right-hand shoulder on I-664 northbound near exit 4. That's Roanoke Avenue. The other accident, 2 lanes are blocked along with the right-hand shoulder on I-64 westbound on the peninsula near exit 261A. That's in Hampton Road Center Parkway. That's the one where I saw a car in the ditch. Okay, so now, yep, there it is. See, there's the car in the ditch that slid off the roadway. There might be something else in the ditch over here. It's really hard to tell. But at least one car is in the ditch, and then we're seeing some reflection here from all the emergency vehicles, and some of those lanes are blocked as the traffic certainly looking, but hopefully everybody is okay here. That's all the information we have there at this point. Again, that's 64 on the peninsula near exit 261. Now, this is the other one I told you about, and this one you can see just off on the shoulder there. So that one isn't as bad, but certainly some vehicles there with flashing lights. Cars are driving by looking at that one too. So again, please take it slow. Breakdown on the south side that was there. The icon disappeared. So that's telling me that that one has been cleared off. So looking now at the Berkeley Bridge, this is downtown Norfolk. Traffic is still moving smoothly there. Something that we like to see. But again, if you don't have to go out this evening, please stay home because those bridges and overpasses will freeze first. And those on and off ramps, got to watch out for that too. Anywhere where there's not a lot of traffic helping to keep the roads warm, we will start to see some of those icy spots. James River Bridge, still seeing that snow blowing horizontally across that. The James River connecting Newport News and Isle of Wight counties. So slow going traffic there. Visibility there not as bad as it was. It was down to a quarter of a mile earlier. But now with those heavier bands pushing down into Chesapeake, that's where you're seeing some of the lowest visibility at this time. For the rest of us, 9-mile visibility now in Williamsburg. So improving a little bit there. But winter driving tips. Now I know several locations have really piled up the snow today. 3, 4, 5, 6, even up to 7 inches in some parts of the area. So I'm going to talk about this, especially number 2, which is important. But first, check your tires. Make sure you have adequate tire pressure so you can grip the roadway. This one, I'm going to point at this because this is important. Remove the ice and the snow. And this is especially important for tomorrow morning. When you head out to work, wherever you have to go, please get that snow brush and brush all of the snow off the roof of your car, and the trunk of your car, the hood of your car, because if you don't, that's going to become a flying projectile at anybody behind you. And trust me, I've been there. It's not fun. Don't be that person. All right? Don't do that. Skidding. Take your foot off the gas. Slow it down. Always turn into the direction of the skid if you do lose control, because you certainly don't want to end up in a ditch like that car I showed you earlier. Okay, so those are the important tips. That's all on traffic for now. Connor, let's go back to you.
Let's lock in on that middle one, Cheryl, because you said it, right? Is it you're going to get out there and you're going to get some of the snow and ice off that windshield, and then you're going to be cold. And you're going to be tired, and it might even be early, and you're going to say, okay, that's enough, I got to get in the car. It's so worth it to stay out there, get it off the roof, clear everything out entirely, and then you can be on your way. Because just imagine you're driving and the person behind you is Cheryl.
Yes.
And she's coming in to help us do the traffic.
Yeah,
and
Cheryl gets angry when that happens.
Oh, no. Okay, Road Rage Cheryl is going to be a whole different segment.
Road rage.
We're going to set aside a whole block for that portion of the
You
show.
should have seen me driving in Syracuse, New York when I lived there with that lake effect snow.
Oh.
That could be the worst. Some of the tractor trailers coming at you.
Okay.
They throw all of the dirt and you can't see anything. The other thing I have to add, windshield washer fluid. Fill it up. Make sure you have enough, because I've run out, and when your windshield gets dirty and you don't have any fluid left to clean it, guess what? You can't see anything.
Yeah, so, okay, Penn State University, Syracuse, New York. If there's anyone who knows how to kind of do the right things in the cold weather, it's Cheryl Nelson. So you got to listen when she gives you these tips.
Been there, done that, and I grew up in Richmond, so I know what it happens and what it means to snow here in this area and what happens. And we don't have the equipment here like we do up north.
See, you got the whole trifecta there. Okay, Cheryl Nelson with the tips. Feel free to write them down. We left them up on the screen so that if you need to write them down, you can. Coming up after the break, we're going to get more updates on the weather, how it's been all around Hampton roads today. We're going to hear from some of our reporters who were out in the elements throughout the afternoon. All right, more team coverage with our reporters out in the field. We're going to go to Williamsburg first, where it has been snowing throughout the day, where there's been some exams that have had to be rescheduled. Out at William and Mary, there has been Snowy the Snowman still there, along with Layla Cox. Layla, how are you and Snowy doing? We've missed you both.
Hey, Connor, and those watching tonight. Snowy and I are doing just fine. I can tell you we're cold. It's freezing temperatures. It's very windy as well. The snowfall has died down, but I can tell you Mark and I have been out here since around 2 p.m. and the snow was steadily falling as we traveled more inland into Williamsburg today. It's accumulated so much. If you just take a look, you can see how thick it is and perfect snowball fighting weather, if you ask me, or if you want to build a snowman. Some students out here came out today and decided to do that since classes were canceled. Now, we've been speaking with city officials all for the past 2 days into today and all day. They told us that crews began brining roads around Williamsburg on Sunday, and we saw crews out here today doing the same thing, salting roads, bridges, and overpasses. We're told they'll continue to do so throughout the night as the snow continues to accumulate. As Connor mentioned, William & Mary's campus was closed today, and all university events were canceled, including exams. And all Williamsburg, James City County Division schools schools and offices were closed today due to inclement weather. They just announced that schools, WJCC schools, will also be closed tomorrow, so another snow day for the kiddos. Now, Virginia's historic triangle encompasses the city of Williamsburg, James City County, and York County. All city officials urge residents across all cities and counties to plan ahead before getting behind the wheel. Assistant Chief Sean Segerblom with York County Emergency Management says crews across all jurisdictions are bracing for conditions to potentially worsen. He says they've upstaffed crews and making sure that they're all briefed about how the weather is going to transition throughout the night into tomorrow morning, where we'll see more freezing temperatures and potentially slippery, icy roads. Let's hear from Chief Segerblom and his message to those getting on the roads tonight or preparing for Tuesday morning commute.
And it all comes down to being prepared, and, knowing what you're getting into. Take your time, give yourself some extra stopping distance. If you don't have to go out, please don't. And finally, if you do run across emergency vehicles that are out on the streets and they are answering calls for service, please give them some extra space.
Now, please listen to what Chief Segerblom had to say and what all the city officials are urging people to do throughout tonight and into tomorrow morning, which is to bundle up, plan ahead if you're getting on the roads. Make sure if snow accumulated on your car today and you didn't go anywhere, that you clean it off maybe tonight or first thing in the morning. And also, as the slippery roads persist throughout the night into tomorrow morning's commute, these icy road chances, please, please, please do not tailgate. I know how you might seem like it's the Fast and the Furious and you want to be really close to the car in front of you. You don't want to do that, because with these slick, icy road chances, it might feel like you're stopping, but you're not at a complete stop yet, just because of how slick that black ice is that you're not going to be able to see. But for now, I'm in the winter wonderland that is right now in Williamsburg on William & Mary campus. Students are happy that they didn't have to go to class today. They had extra time to prepare for exams. I'm sure the kiddos are excited about their extended snow day tomorrow. Not sure how the parents feel about that, but I'm having fun out here with Snowy. We've got some snowballs. I'm just gonna throw it. I know it didn't go right to the camera, but we could make some more all throughout the night. I know Derek said he had FOMO, but hey, I'm not complaining if you're in a heated vehicle right now. Please stay warm, bundle up, and enjoy the rest of you guys' night into tomorrow morning. But first and foremost, be safe. I'll hand it back to you, Connor.
All right, Layla, ominously holding that snowball. I had a feeling that was going to come our way, and then there's Snowy just looking at us like, what are you guys going to do about it? So Layla Cox with a fantastic report all day from William & Mary, and the most important advice: to be safe out on the roads. Do not tailgate. Great job, Layla. Exams may have been canceled, but you passed every test today that was thrown at you. Now we're going to throw it to Derek Lytle, who is still out on the roadways. Now, Derek, we've got great news for you. I know that you've had some FOMO throughout the course of our stream. Layla just told us she's got FOMO about you guys being inside the car on this snowy day. But while inside the car, what have you seen out there on the roads?
Yeah, Connor, I've actually had a couple moments to listen to some of those jazzy intros we've had back at the studio. There's no room to Texas two-step here in the weather vehicle, but anyway, we're a couple exits from the ocean front. You can see the snow blowing into our space here, the weather vehicle. The temperature gauge here in the car actually just dropped down to 31.4, so now below freezing. We're starting to see some more impacts. A lot of people are starting to, take into account, they're starting to put their hazards on and move to the far right lane and just drive a little bit slower on their way home tonight. Now, I want to give you one of these perspectives we haven't seen in a minute. You can see the roadway from here underneath the car. You can see how all the snow's being blown, and you can see how wet it is on that roadway. We're taking our time getting to the ocean front. My guy Luca here driving us has been a trooper. He needs a rewards mileage card for 264. I think he's got the route memorized by now. But you can see the snow building up a lot more on the sides of 264 as we speak. You're starting to see those accumulations that you can actually see now on the monitor. And when I did just talk to Virginia State Police, they're just cautioning people, take your time. If you do get in an emergency situation, don't panic. Try not to panic. And if you haven't left the house yet, make sure your vehicle's working. Make sure you have some of those to-go items, like even blankets, something that could be a lifesaver if you're trapped somewhere, heaven forbid, for multiple hours. But you can see it's still coming down. It's been coming down for a while now, and we're starting to see that stick here towards the Virginia Beach area, Connor.
All right, if there's anyone who knows about a Texas two-step, it is definitely Derek Lytle. I mean, that's reason enough for us to take the Weather Impact Interceptor and maybe turn it into a double-decker van or something, just so we can get that Texas two-step. Thank you, Derek. Excellent report. Stay safe out there. You guys drive carefully, as we've been telling all of our viewers. And you can see from the camera angle that they had there on our Weather Impact Interceptor, you see the snow still coming down over there on 264. Conditions still difficult and the temperature only dropping. So make sure to be careful if you do have to go out on the roadways. Now, we are not going anywhere because we're going to be right back here after a short break. We're going to hear once again a little bit of forecast on this Weather Impact Alert Day. Remember, an extension to that Weather Impact Alert. Get more information after the break. Welcome back to our 6:30 stream here on 13 News Now Plus. We're going to toss it over to Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandages with more on the forecast. Tim.
Hey, Connor, we're still looking at accumulating snows out there, although it is much more isolated than it was earlier. It was widespread about an hour and a half ago, but we're really starting to see the snowfall rates come down, with the exception of Southside, where we can see some of the darker blues on radar right now. That's some snowfall rates, maybe a half an inch per hour in some of those spots, really becoming much lighter as you head to the north and west and filling in a little bit more as you get northwest of I-85 up towards Richmond with some lighter snow at this time. Putting in a loop over the last 2 hours, you can really see how the widespread darker blues is really kind of contracted to what's located currently in Southside and moving pretty quickly off towards the east. I'd say we've got another hour, maybe of some of the heavier snow, and then it'll start to really wind down as we go past from there from west to east going through this evening. Now, radar estimates of snowfall over the last 12 hours. Keep in mind, these are estimates. We do have some ground reports that are close to some of these numbers, but some of these numbers in the darker blue are, I think, overdone. Out near Surrey and Sussex, projections here are 7, 8, 9 inches of snow. There could be some isolated spots that are close to that, possibly. Haven't gotten any ground verified reports, though. And then as you cross the James River heading into Newport News, James City County, I did have a report in Menchville of nearly 7 inches, but radar estimates here not really near that. We had a couple other readings that were closer to 5.5, 6 inches, so definitely some higher totals in the mix there. And then down through Southside, the only verified report we've gotten so far was out near the airport at the Observer. There is half an inch so far. And that was about an hour and a half ago or so. So we'll see what these totals end up with. Radar estimates here are over an inch. A lot of this was lost due to melting, but grassy areas should be able to retain some of that accumulation, especially as we go through tonight and temperatures really get cold. Here's a look at south side. Some of the darker blues indicating the heavier snowfall rates, moving from Deep Creek to Great Bridge, out into downtown Suffolk, South Norfolk, over into north side Virginia Beach as you get towards Little Neck. Some moderate snow for you there, and stretching down south into South Chesapeake, Hickory area as well. Williamsburg starting to see some light snow flurries here. It is filling in a little bit more. We may see another little burst of snow come on through there. Things have really wound down out through the eastern shore. A heavier band has pushed east and offshore, but a little bit more working its way over the bay towards the east. And if you have northeast North Carolina, if you get closer to the border, you're starting to see a little more heavier snow. Perquimans over to Currituck, starting to see some heavier snow there. Moyock, Knott's Island area, still likely just a cold rain, maybe mixing with some wet snowflakes out towards Poplar Branch and Grandy. So snow winds down west to east, 9 to 11, I'd say maybe 8 to 10. With the rate we're going now, very cold overnight with low temperatures, air temperatures themselves, down in the 20s. With a fresh snowpack farther inland, we may even see some upper teens by tomorrow. With the winds as well, it will feel like it's in the teens in a lot of spots. So some snow covered, but a lot of icy roads overnight and into tomorrow morning. So that's going to impact your morning commute. Here's a look at temperatures at this hour. We're down to 28 at Melfa, freezing at Chesapeake, 29 out at Franklin. We're in the upper 20s, Saluda to Williamsburg to Wakefield, freezing at Suffolk, sub-freezing out of Virginia Beach at 31 and 33 in Elizabeth City. Add in wind gusts, peak wind gusts today, we're up in over 40 miles an hour, and it's still blustery out there this evening, and that's going to make it feel like it's down in the teens by early tomorrow. So down to 30 tonight. Back inland, though, check out some of these numbers we're forecasting. 25 at Newport News, down to 23 at Hosky, 21 West Point. Williamsburg at 24. Could be even colder than that with several inches of snow on the ground there. So anything that looks wet out there now and over the next few hours will likely just be a sheet of black ice and very slick. So make sure you take precautions for that into tomorrow morning's commute. Now, Evan, things are going to get warmer tomorrow, at least a little bit above freezing, ensue some melting, but we could see a refreeze tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're looking at temperatures back at or below freezing tomorrow night. So anything that doesn't melt and doesn't go away through the day tomorrow could have some more issues into Wednesday morning. This is our Thompson Creek Window Company sky view, some of our cameras. We're checking out Williamsburg there around the Art Museum. You can see that there is some snow that has accumulated on the roads. That's what we're talking about. You know, the main roads are pretty good with the interstates that have been treated, but it's these secondary roads and these tertiary roads that we're expecting some of the issues into tomorrow morning with those temperatures down into the 20s. And even here in Chesapeake, this again is the Jordan Bridge. And right now, doesn't look like anything is really sticking on the bridge, but it is an elevated surface. Bridges freeze before roadways because the air can get underneath, take away some of that warmth. So I wouldn't be surprised if, again, some of these bridges and some of these overpasses have some slick spots into tomorrow morning with temperatures down into the 20s. And looks nice seeing the city all lit up, and now we've got some of the snow. This is in downtown Norfolk and Nauticus, and up in Newport News, we've seen that snow that really settled pretty quickly, just within the span of about an hour, went from rain to snow and already accumulation up at Oyster Point in Newport News. So timing things out for you with Futurecast through this evening. Again, with things winding down over the next couple of hours, still could be some lingering flurries, some lingering snowflakes as we head here towards 11 o'clock. But by midnight or so, everything will be winding down. And as Tim mentioned, concerned about inland spots, especially where those temperatures are going to be in the low 20s. Could even be a few upper teens. There could be some slick spots out there. Also, don't forget, sidewalks and decks as you're waking up tomorrow morning. Let the dog out. Could be some issues on some of those decks and sidewalks and into your backyard. Then as we go through the day, looking at a mix of clouds and sunshine, temperatures by afternoon up to 41 degrees. 30s in inland spots, so it's not going to melt a lot, especially if temperatures are only around 37 and we have a little bit more cloud cover. That means as we get into tomorrow night, skies clear, temperatures down into the 20s once again by 11 o'clock tomorrow night and into Wednesday morning. And we could once again see a bit of a refreeze. Shouldn't be as widespread as what we're looking at tonight. Then by the afternoon, temperatures warm up nicely up into the low to mid 50s on Wednesday, so we get a little bit of a warm up. But that'll be very brief because temperatures will start to go back down for Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. Tomorrow only 41, 53 Wednesday, but notice Thursday 48, 46 on Friday, and Saturday only 42 on Sunday with a chance at a few isolated showers. And depending on the timing, maybe starting or ending as a little bit of a brief mix with those cold temperatures, and then only 40 degrees and mostly sunny next Monday. Some spots not getting out of the 30s. Connor?
All right, 53 degrees on Wednesday. Break out the sunscreen and the tank tops, right? Going to be a little bit toasty out there, at least relative to what we've been feeling through the beginning of December here. Now, speaking of the beginning, at about 1:05 p.m., we did a live shot with Brianna Fallon on Live Impact News, and the snow was steadily coming down out by Warwick Boulevard. That was pretty much the case all the way through the 6 o'clock show, just about. Brianna Fallon out in Newport News reporting all day on the conditions on the peninsula, one of the areas that saw the most snowfall. Here is an overview of everything she saw today out there.
In just a matter of minutes, several areas of Newport News saw freezing rain turn to snow this afternoon.
The main concern is just to keep the roads clear and passable for the community.
Newport News Street Maintenance Administrator Jason Calbert says crews saw this storm coming well in advance and started prepping the roads over the weekend. But he says the work doesn't end there. Calbert's crews are working around the clock today to keep these roads safe and clear of snow as best as they can. While Calbert's crews work on plowing and laying salt on the roads, Calbert says the best thing drivers can do during this storm is to stay home. But if you are out on the roads, Calbert says it's important to take your time and drive cautiously.
You don't need to go out when the roads become unsafe, then certainly stay home. And if you see our crews out working, please give them space so that they can treat the roads.
All right, shout out once again to Brianna Fallon out there on the peninsula all day long today. And it wasn't just our reporters and our meteorologists contributing to our weather coverage today. We also had viewers sending in snow pictures for us all day. So let's take a look at some of these pictures. Ren Shawless with the beautiful sort of Christmas ornament in the foreground, and then the winter wonderland in the background. And then Sean Foley, this is a beautiful patio right here, turned arguably even more beautiful by the falling snow. And then both of these have that sort of enviable barren trees that turn into just a picturesque scene once they get a little bit of snowfall on top of them. All right, let's go out to Newport News. Dana Jones, again, another one of those sort of beautiful yard pictures where everything just has a gentle coat of snow on it. And this area even looks like some of that snow settled on the roadways there. And then who's that? Our very own Brianna Fallon, pulling triple duty, doing live shots, doing packages for us, and then, of course, sending in viewer photos as well. And again, that shows you how the roads were out there in Newport News. You see the accumulation right here. All right, let's keep swiping around. Oh, whoa, out in Gloucester. Okay, Tara sent us this out in Gloucester. Let's try to figure out what's going on here. How much time do we have? Okay, couple of different options, all right? Either these two are in a snowball fight, in which case I'll take paws over hooves anytime when it comes to packing, right? Or perhaps they're playing a game of hide and seek and the horse just got found. I don't know if you can see, it looks suspicious, sort of, with the look that's on his face there. But okay, we're not exactly sure. Let's move on to Annette Holloway. More Christmas decor and more snowfall coming down. Sort of a giant Christmas tree right here that is looking really picturesque. And then we've got ourselves a viewer video from Elle Golden, just to show the full breadth of what they experienced out there in Hampton in the yard, as it is really coming down, almost obstructing the view a little bit. Just, you know, we want everyone to be safe, and it can be incredibly dangerous out there, but also a beautiful day in Hampton roads in a lot of different ways. And please feel free to send us your snow pics anytime that you get a chance. We might put your pictures up on the air, but honestly, we can't say for sure because we leave it all up to Tim. So it's whatever Tim decides. If your pictures are not on the air, there's only one person you have to blame, and that is Tim Pandages. Send him your angry emails. Really, if you're upset about anything, just send Tim an email and vent it out, and he will forward them to me. I am just kidding. You guys have done an incredible job today. Same with you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
4 p.m. all the way through, working incredibly hard to try to keep everybody as safe as possible and updated. Any last words, guys?
No, it's going to be a cold night tonight. Snow winding down the next couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Evan?
Yeah, and daybreak starts at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, getting an early start.
That's right. And then, Cheryl, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me today. And guys, there are more cars sliding into ditches. So please be careful tonight.
Yes, take it easy out there on the roads. A huge shout out to every single one of our reporters who was out there in the field. I also want to do something. You see the reporters out there working so hard in the elements. Just know that behind every single one of those cameras is a photographer who is just as cold and working just as hard to bring you all the information that you need. So shout out to our entire team. I am Connor Reel, and that does it for our 6:30 stream. We'll be back at 11 p.m.